Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Hodem, and today I'm joined by Jeremy Forbes. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey Mike, how's it going?
Good. Well, not all good. Today was the today was the quick fire trial of Harry Maguire, and he was found guilty. And to read the journalist's reports,
I didn't. The sad part is I didn't even realize it was supposed to happen this morning.
yeah. Apparently, the prosecutors gave the defense their case, the charges against him, his brother, and a friend late last night,
Oh wow.
late Monday night,
Uh huh.
and they were supposed to show up in
Yeah.
court early Tuesday morning today. So,
Yep.
defense tried to push the recess or push the trial back a couple days so they can prepare a better case. The judge said no. Judge ultimately found that Maguire was guilty. It was just
Oh wow.
interesting. It was just interesting reading the journalists. It was like two completely different stories, like different movies, different genres. Like Harry Maguire's was scary. It was like a Taken movie with Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then it seemed like the Greek police were in Super Troopers. So
I would have watched both of them.
yeah, right. So right meow. I want to ask you two questions. First of all, are you disappointed with Harry Maguire and what he did? And secondly, do you think we should look into finding a new captain, taking the armband away?
Um, I'll say this much. At the end of the day, I am actually a firm believer that I think we at times fail to remember that we are all human beings and we can all find ourselves in tricky situations that we never desired to be in. And sometimes we have to have a little bit more understanding. Yes, these people are professionals. Yes, these people are, for some people, role models. But we're all human beings. We can all make mistakes, whether it's a high-profile person making a mistake or Joe Schmo down the street making a mistake. And I'm not saying that what his actions that happened, because I wasn't there, are a mistake and that he should have never did those actions or say tried to defend his family like that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that it gets blown out of proportion, in my opinion, sometimes when you look at the same situation that a normal person, if you want to say it that way, might find themselves in and how they would be treated compared to someone else that now we want to have this almost like a higher expectation of them. And at times, people are human. They're just human. If you had somebody where your family member was attacked, like I said, we don't know the full story of what happened and what the parameters were. There will be some people that would instantly, want to defend their family member through the use of violence. And then there will be other people that would instantly want to defend their family member, but it wouldn't be through violence because they're just not that type of person. But it's not that one outcome is better than the other. If it's warranted, it's just like how we can say self-defense is warranted. You going out there looking for problems and wanting to say have violent interactions with people is different than a self-defense act. And people believe in self-defense. So just because one person has the ability to do self-defense and another person might be more of a pragmatic person where they talk people down with words and all of that, one option isn't better than the other. And at the end of the day, like I said before, we're all human beings. So whether you're a super high profile person or not, I mean, as long as it wasn't something kind of blatant where it doesn't seem like he went out of his way to create this situation and start it, then, I think we cut him some slack. Now, I would follow that up with the fact that I actually think he, at this point in time, might not be the best person to be our captain, but not just because of this incident, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense. So you wouldn't take the captain's armband off of him based upon getting arrested and what happened in Greece?
Yeah, I would not take the armband off him because of this situation that occurred in Greece. I would let him be aware that at this point in time, we're looking to shift the captaincy, and we want you to understand that it is not because of that, and we want you to still have pride in playing for us. But we think with all of the, extra criticism around the place and everything, at this point in time, we would like to say propose a new captain, and it might just be, for an interim period. It might, last for longer. However, you kind of explain that to him to maybe soften the blow, if you want to say, and just so he is assured that it's not that you do support him, and it's not because of this, but you have further directions that you want to take in regard to the captaincy.
Well,
or a different direction.
I guess I disagree with that take. I still stand by what when Patrick and I's video on Friday, when there's still details coming out, and really right now I'm more confused upon what happened now than I was then. And the version I got then, it seems like wasn't the right version at all. But even with him sounding like he was defending his sister, there's still choices that are made to put yourself in that position. And I get what you're saying about people being human beings. Everyone's a human being. We all make mistakes. That is true. But
we also process things differently.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter, so if something was to happen like that, that's probably not going to be my first response to fight in defense. But
you know me. I'd be there swinging punches. I'd get my butt destroyed probably in the end, and I would be
to follow your gut, which is defend your sister.
Yes, I would start fighting. That's in my nature. So
I'm more diplomatic. I would try to talk them down.
But to get to my point, when you're making the type of money he is making, I'm not even going to talk about the bribery charge, because I think that was actually trumped up. That's my personal opinion. I'm just straight up that, because what the police officer said in court seemed to be what you would write down if you were trying to accuse somebody of bribery. I don't think he said, "Do you know who I am? I'm the captain of Manchester United. I have tons of money. I can give you whatever you want." That's exactly what you would.
Nah.
Yeah, if he actually did make a bribe, it would be a little bit more. It wouldn't be like that. That's ridiculous. I don't think anyone would be that stupid. But
no.
At the end of the day, I feel like you can back the player, which United have released a statement tonight saying they don't agree with the Greek court decision. They back his Harry's decision and the legal team's decision to go ahead and appeal the verdict. So that's good.
I can support that.
I think Ole can still, and I think he still should take the armband off him. I don't. Where I disagree with you is that I think he has to show that you still need to you're getting paid all this money. You're a high-profile athlete. We have this pandemic going on, so it seems like all the footballers, not just United footballers, but other footballers, have gone to Greece for their holiday, because I guess Greece's borders are wide open, and I don't know what the situation is there, but that seems to be where everybody's going. And it feels like Harry may have gotten exploited. I don't know.
Yep.
But at the end of the day,
you're almost saying that because you know that there's going to always be opportunities for something crazy like this, if you want to be a little bit more relaxed, you have to take precautions. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that he could have there were decisions he could
club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He could have rented out a room at a club, been more exclusive. I mean, these players, from what I hear, do this all the time back in Manchester. They rent out their own little space at a private party, have private parties at clubs, and
so nobody else is there but the people that you want to be there.
Yeah, hire security and make sure that everybody that's, like you said, is there. And he didn't take the necessary precautions. There were choices that were made that I feel were he might not have thought at the time were reckless, but at the end of the day, with his profile as being Manchester United captain, they were reckless, and they ended up leading him into trouble, unfortunately. And at the end of the day, I think Ole does need to make a decision to take the armband off of him. I disagree with you, because I don't want him to tell him that we just want to. I don't want him to tell him that we want to go in another direction with the armband, because I feel like that makes Ole look weak. That his decision wasn't right. If he's also saying in the same breath that it wasn't based upon the Greece decision, well, we had was it Valencia leave in the summer, who was captain. Then we replaced him with summer of 2019. Then we replaced him with Ashley Young. He lasted 6 months before we shipped him off to Italy. We replaced him with Harry Maguire. Now we're going to go in a different direction 8 months later. I don't think we want that. We want stability with the armband. We want a leader. And I think we should still give it to Bruno. But you have to tell Harry that, yeah, this is a direct consequence of the what happened in Greece. While we don't think the charges against you are credible, and we back you there, you're still irresponsible enough to get yourself into that situation. And we need more accountability. We have enough negative press already. And we'll get to some of the press in a second here. But that's my take on that. And I do back Harry. Shouldn't be suspended. But I do think we should look at potentially shifting the armband onto Bruno because of what happened in Greece.
Yeah, but like I said, I can respect the way that you've presented that. I do still believe that, for as much as all of that makes sense, and for as much as he could have made wiser and better choices, I just hate the culture that we place upon certain individuals, when I think that there should be a little bit more understanding from a standpoint that, like I stated before, for as much as you desire to plan, even the best planners sometimes, will miss a mark, will misstep. And I just hate the culture of the celebrities, the sports people, the singers, the artists, that now for some reason we have to hold them at this extremely higher standard. I just don't believe in it. That's just me.
That's fair, but at the end of the day, he is getting paid. Like I agree with you, but at the same time, I look at it, you're getting paid. You're making a lot more money than some Yahoo like me, who's going to go stir up trouble on a Greek island. I mean, you have to. I mean, I'm talking me stirring up trouble, not Harry. So you gotta look at it like you're making so much more money. You just have to make better choices, unfortunately, and make sure that you look after yourself, and not just yourself, but like the people who you let be around you, and make sure everyone's safe.
Sorry, you're not no Eric Cantona.
Well, that is an interesting point you bring him up, because he did get the armband, I think, a year after what happened with him at Palace, going into the stands with his Jackie Chan kick. And he got criminal charges pressed against him. He got a long suspension from the league, which I don't expect there will be any suspension or anything like that because it was during holidays. So I don't expect that here. But it is an interesting counter argument. Ferguson thought he could make Cantona captain like a year after he went into the stands at Selhurst Park. So,
well, once again, we're not all created equal. We're not, sadly to say.
No.
Where some person maybe that would have been even higher profile than Maguire be able to get away with that. Maguire, sorry, you're not that person.
Well, let's talk about higher profile because news. There's been some news churning today that I think will catch your interest because it involves a player dear to your heart. Let's talk about Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi.
You mean dear to the hatred of my heart? To the utter disdain of my heart? What are you talking about?
Lionel Messi. First, there's a report coming out of Spain, probably around midday, saying that United had moved to the front of the queue to sign Lionel Messi. I'm like, you're looking at that report, you're like, yeah, whatever. Front of the queue to what? Pay 500 million pounds to Barcelona for a 33-year-old.
Nobody's trying to do that.
Player. But then a couple hours later, news trickles down that he has told the Barcelona president and board that he wants to leave the club. And
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, it's gonna take a heck of a bid to get you out of there. But then
Yeah,
further
for real.
news came in that apparently his contract, the most recent one he signed, has a clause that can be invoked 10 days after Champions League final in May each year, where he can say he wants to opt out of his contract and then go be a free agent.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah. So the thing is I guess the verbiage says Champions League final in May. Well, Champions League final in August just happened a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
Barcelona were shocked by this, and there's already reporting that they're saying that this clause isn't valid because of the time frame that the Champions League final happened. I don't know, but long story
Well,
short,
as a club, as any club, if you had a player that was saying that, you have to say that. Let's
yeah.
just be honest. You have to. That's going to be your
Um,
first initial fight in battle.
this could
Who
get.
would be the ruler of that, though? UEFA?
I think it would go to Spanish court.
Oh,
They'd have to go
okay.
to the arbitrator.
Okay.
They're in Barcelona.
Hmm.
Um, it would be that's basically bringing me to my first point. This could be headed to a messy divorce.
Oh, wow.
It, um,
No pun intended, or definitely pun intended.
definitely pun intended. But yeah, Leo and Barcelona. Do you think? Let's look at this as United fans. Since we apparently moved to the head of the queue, what I'm kind of at a loss for words here, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. Everything being equal, if it goes to arbitration, and he does truly want to get out of the club, which I'm skeptical of that. But let's just say everything remaining equal, I actually think he does have a viable defense there. I mean, because at the end of the day, yes, if he had said, "Oh, the end of May, I want to get out," what would the club say? Oh, the Champions League final hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the premise has to be upon the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't cause it to happen later than May.
No.
So that holds no precedence. I think the precedence is after the Champions League final. So how many more days do we even have? If it's 10, what is that date actually going to be now? 10 days from, what was it, the 25th that the final happened?
The 23rd.
23rd.
2 days ago. So we have 8 more days.
8 more days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. But I think he and his camp have a valid option to go with in that regard.
And it should be noted, he should be noted that he sent a legal document via fax, ironically.
Oh boy.
Tell Ed about Leo's fax machine. He might want to get one. But
I could care less.
But
I actually wouldn't want him to come to our club. But if it happens, it happens. I'm going to treat him like how I used to treat Wes Brown. I hated him, but if he did well, okay. And then the moment he messed up, then I would cuss him left, right, and center and say how much I hated him.
he got an assist in our Champions League final win in 2008. He set up Ronaldo's header.
Gentle Jesus.
He was our first choice right back all year long.
So I really hope that it doesn't come down to that, if I'm being honest. And I know I'll probably be one of few people that would say that they wouldn't want Messi at their club. But I will say that. And then the other side of this coin is I actually think this is probably more of a ploy for him to get what he actually wants at the club where he wants to stay at, which is Barcelona. Because there is no true, in my opinion, rhyme or reason. Why would you want to come to Manchester United? Like, for him specifically, if I thought he was going to come to the Premier League at all, I think it would be to join the club with Pep. Otherwise, there's no other club in the UK that I see him having any kind of fondness for. No reason or connection. Like, there's not any massive players on our team that have a good, from what I know of. amazing kind of rapport with him. Like,
I think
so
Jesse
I think
Lingard.
he's using the system. I think he's using the system, and this to me feels like another Ramos situation where somebody in the Spanish league that doesn't actually want to leave the Spanish league will use Manchester United's high-profile name to threaten, but they only end up getting what they actually want from the club they want to be at. So I don't want us to get sucked into this. Like, if this is actually going to be something, they have to take the whole ball and make sure that it happens from their side. We shouldn't get sucked into this, and then later on, he ends up getting what he actually desires, which is just to use the club as a pawn for him to get what he wants as a spoiled kid and stay there in Barcelona.
Well, this is why it's happening, Jeremy. So he sent a legal document to the club, and I totally get your wariness of him using leverage to get a new contract, or getting
or just even to get what he wants, like
getting a
get
new
people
president.
out of position.
Yeah. So I totally get that idea. I mean, I said contract because that's what Sergio Ramos did in 2015. And it was funny the other day, Louis van Gaal said, "Oh, we were interested in Sergio Ramos, but apparently Manchester United can't get him." You idiot! It was never going to happen.
He never wanted to go.
But here's further why it's happening, because he put in this legal document, and Barcelona we're not any great club by any stretch, but there is marketing potentials for both sides. You know, Ed and the Glazers are probably rubbing their hands together, thinking about the number of jerseys they could sell and what products they could put his face on, and you know, that all that good stuff.
All these commercials that he's already a part of, which will now see him with a Man United jersey on,
so
instead of a Barca jersey.
Yeah, well, actually, I believe so Barcelona's kitted by Nike, right? And I believe he wears Adidas shoes. So I don't think in any of the commercials, unless it's a commercial partner for Barcelona.
He can't be wearing
the Pepsi commercial, Adidas commercial, obviously, which we see him in a lot here in America.
Oh, it's just him in normal clothes.
It's just him in normal clothes. But I think if he does go to United, the Adidas connection, he would be able to wear the United kit and Pepsi commercials and
wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good.
So I think that's another reason why this would happen. Another reason is I really don't want to praise Ed Woodward or the Glazers at all. I'm not about that. I'm not about that at all. But it feels like we went to Sancho. We, blew our wad. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But there kept to be there was rumblings there, constant media scrutiny, whatever. And there was nothing about Messi in us until today.
Oh wow. Yep.
As far as I could tell. So it felt like I was kind of thinking it all along that maybe the Sancho thing is some type of smoke screen, but then sometimes then sometimes you just hope that there may be something better. Now, I'm just going to throw this in right now because I actually agree with you. I'd much rather have Sancho for the price that Dortmund want him for than sign Messi for free. First of all, Messi's on a contract that's close to £1 million a week. And so we could probably get him for a little bit less than that because of the commercial reasonings I described just a bit ago. But that would just, to me, feels like another Sanchez situation.
Oh yeah, we don't want to do another Alexis Sanchez thing. Yeah,
we could bring in Sancho for probably a quarter of we could bring in Sancho for a quarter of his salary. And you have a player who's 20, not even close to his prime yet, and already playing fantastic football. So I'd rather have that, but I think there's a good chance this could happen because and to your point about City, and that's where my mind went to immediately. I was like, why, if he wanted Premier League football, why wouldn't he just go to City? If he's going to be a free and City don't have to necessarily worry about financial fair play, then why wouldn't he go play for Pep? There's two issues with that, and one is the commercial, because I believe City is fitted by Puma. So that could be a potential issue. So they would probably have to meet his full wage demands.
Yeah.
And the second thing, which I don't know is a thing, or maybe I'm making this up, but much of the narrative after City's loss to Leon was that Pep cannot win a Champions League without Lionel Messi.
Oh wow.
And you combine that with the fact that when David Silva left, Pep kept reiterating that they have Phil Foden. They don't need a replacement for David Silva. Well, they ended up selling Leroy Sané as well, but then they went and signed that winger from Valencia. So I think he's kind of the Sané replacement. But he kept saying that they don't need somebody to replace David Silva because they have Phil Foden. So I think you combine those two things, and I don't know Pep at all. I know it's commonplace for coaches and managers in American sports to be very prideful. And he has to be thinking, gosh, I've had 4 years at Bayern Munich, I believe. I think he's had 4 or 5 years, 4 years at Man City now. And he hasn't won. Yeah, 4 years at Bayern, 4 years at Man City. And he hasn't won a Champions League. And he's had fantastic teams at both places. Won the league all 4 years in Germany, I believe.
Yeah.
And he won
Which isn't hard to do. Okay.
I knew you were going to throw that in there. But he won the league.
Especially if you're coaching Bayern Munich and all the players want to go there.
But he won the league 2 out of 4 years at City, and he hit the 100-point mark. So he had great teams in both places. He just couldn't get over the hump and win a Champions League. And that was much of the narrative again this year, more so I think than in previous years, was that he can't win a Champions League without Lionel Messi. That's what people were saying. It wasn't like he can't win a championship outside of Barcelona. No, it was he can't win a Champions League without Lionel Messi.
So you're saying his thought would be that if he did end up telling City that he wanted him and he came in and they actually finally did win the Champions League, it will take away from him because the people would be like, oh, Lionel Messi won the Champions League for Man City, not Pep.
And that parallels me back to American sports and what we just saw the Glaciers do in the NFL. I don't like comparing the Buccaneers with Man United because the Buccaneers are a franchise in the NFL and Manchester United is a football club. They're two sports teams, but the basis of finances are completely different from one another.
Yeah.
So people saying that we went and spent all of our money on Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski is crazy because the way the CB collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association is set up in the NFL is that each team has the same cap space and they're required to spend within, I don't know, I think it's 90%, but I could be wrong, of that cap space. So if they didn't throw that money at Tom Brady, they'd be giving it to, I don't know, some scrub running back like my team, the Jaguars, do. So the money would be getting spent somewhere because the NFL collective bargaining agreement requires it. But you had that divorce between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick regarded as the best coach of our time. And Pep is kind of considered that too, in their respective sports. But there was a lot of rumblings that that Brady and Belichick wanted to divorce each other because they wanted to prove who was the actual reason behind the success of New England Patriots. And somehow, and it shocked me when I heard, but somehow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Tom Brady. Don't know how that happened, but they somehow convinced him to come to Tampa Bay. I thought no chance, but somehow that ended up happening. I'm
hoping that ends in a big dumpster fire.
you and me both. But that somehow ended up happening. And then, but then you look at the Messi situation's a little different because Messi did win a Champions League after Guardiola left. He did win one. So he might want City, but at the same time,
the City want him.
The two things he's going to want is financial power and winning trophies. He can get, I believe he can get actually more financial power at United, based upon what we talked about before. And he might see I'm weary to say this because I don't want to jinx anything, but he might see our upturn in form since Bruno arrived as a team that's on the rise. And he currently sees Barcelona as a team in steep decline. And he might be one of the reasons why. to
Yeah,
be quite frank.
yeah, but it's easier for a player to go out, just like how Rooney went out still more or less, even though he had declined, with a Man United team that was still, had some kind of credibility. So it's almost just like if I'm going to go out, I'm going to have my last couple of hurrah years, even if I'm not up to scratch. I'd rather be with a better club that's on the upturn than a club that's on the downturn.
I would say that Rooney's final years we were very much a club on the downturn. You look at us under Louis van Gaal, who complains about all these players he won, a list of 10 players, all of which, two of which he wouldn't have known about or he wouldn't have had a chance to have a run at, which were the two from Leicester, Conte and Mahrez. But so he's full of crap anyway. I don't want to get into that. That's just going to upset me. So I don't know why I went there again. But I think Rooney was kind of he was an aging star in a squad that was on the descent.
On the downturn. Okay.
And
so maybe that's a bad
hanging on to past glory, and we needed to
Yeah.
move him on and rebuild.
Yeah, maybe that's a bad scenario, but okay, so that's what we think can potentially happen. So now it's the waiting game of seeing what's going to be the true outcome and who had the true intentions. What are the true intentions? So this is now going to be a soap opera to find out what the true intentions were.
Yeah, you're pretty much right. It could very well come down to the fact that he wants that president, I can't say the guy's name, Bartomeu or Baldomeu. I don't know. He wants him gone. There's an election next year. That's too late. Get him gone and have an emergency election. He wants him out. He probably isn't thrilled with the fact that Koeman was appointed manager, which I don't think I would be either. And Koeman immediately got hired as manager and immediately threw Luis Suarez under the bus. And I understand that Suarez and Messi get along great, so I don't think he liked that either. It'd be funny if this president resigns, they hold an emergency election, hire the manager or the president that he supposedly wants, and that president goes and sacks Koeman 48 days after he gets hired.
Probably would. If you're going to go through that extent to please a player, probably would happen.
I think he ultimately wants Xavi to be the manager, who's been managing over in Qatar, and people want to criticize Ole for his CV. You're going to bring in Xavi with a CV with Qatar, but then again, Juventus just hired Andrea Pirlo with absolutely no managerial experience.
People are just wanting. I think people are just wanting to think about better times. I mean, we're in a pandemic. People want to think about better times. So let's get a manager that's going to allow us to think about better times.
Let's think about better times. Let's force this president to quit. Let's fire a third or fourth manager in the span of a year. And
and think about better times.
Dump on all those people, but then we can think about better times.
Well, I look forward to days of our lives in the footballing world.
Yes.
The next 8 days. The soap opera of Messi and Man United.
That's right. He is now the main protagonist in our soap opera, at least for a few hours.
The next 8 days.
until the next news story circulates. But hey, let's give Victor Lindelof some applause.
Yes. Saving people.
Yes.
He can't save goals, but he can save people.
You just had to go there. No, he what is it? Elderly lady had her purse stolen, and he chased down the thief and held him down until police arrived.
So that guy is actually slower than him.
Well, I think Lindelof is in his defense, he's a little faster than Maguire. But the thief didn't have electric pace. He didn't have the pace of a Kristen Pulisic or someone of that ilk. That's for sure.
Anybody.
He says he's taking down thieves. Maybe he should go after the Glaciers next. Just my thought. If he's fighting crime and taking the thieves down, let's take down these owners. But the curtain is now closing on the theater of football. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Jeremy, for joining me as well.
It was fun. I hope that this melodrama that that our club is in right now finds its way to a completion, because I would like to finally know whether we're going to get a player this transfer season or not.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal we want to get to. We want to sign. At this point, I just want to see somebody come through the door. Anybody, just
as of right now, almost anybody.
Could be Uncle Poppy, and I'd be like, okay, all right, we'll take that. Good job, Ed. Good work.
We'll see.
I have promise.
I'll definitely fall way below their pay structure.
That's right. Just give him a couple thousand a week, and maybe throw in a few Big Macs. He'll be signing right up.
I mean, I will be able to travel with the team, right? So I'll be enjoying travel, free travel.
You could be
not all I need.
You could be Harry security then, but you're not a fighter, so that might not work. But yeah, no, it'll be great to see you in a United shirt come October.
Oh yes,
it's gonna be a last day deal.
Yeah, and they're still gonna pay me more than what I asked for.
October 5th. I'm gonna claim third party ownership, like the whole Tevez saga from over a decade ago. Yeah, I'm gonna be your agent, and I'm gonna be the ownership. So I make sure I get 2 different fees. So I'll be well compensated for that. And
oh boy,
I'll make sure they'll give you 4 Big Macs instead of 3 a week.
Thank you for all your great work as an agent. I appreciate it. I look forward to us putting pen to paper and playing with Lingard.
Yes, that's your dream, to play with the king.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. For Jeremy, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching the Theater of Football, and we'll be back in a couple days. Bye.
See you later. Like, subscribe.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.